When you need to find information in a large spreadsheet, or you're always looking for the same kind of information, use the VLOOKUP function. VLOOKUP works a lot like a phone book, where you start with a piece of data you know, someone's name, in order to find out what you don't know, their phone number. So as an example, I'll enter part numbers, the thing I know, and find out prices, the thing I don't know. To do that, I'll click the cell where I want to see the prices. I'll enter an equal sign, VLOOKUP, and parentheses. These parentheses will contain a set of arguments, and an argument is just a piece of data that the function needs in order to run. I'll enter H2 as the first argument because that's where I'll type the part numbers. Follow that with a comma, and then I'll enter the range of cells that contains the data I want to search. That's this block of data here. The part numbers start in cell B3, and if I scroll down, you can see the status values end at cell E52. So I'll enter B3, a colon, and E52, then I'll type another comma. And you need to do that because the functions won't work without the colons and commas. Next, I'll type the number 3. This tells VLOOKUP that the values I want to see are in the third column from the left in the range of cells I want to search. In other words, it's the third column over from the part numbers, the data I know. Another comma, and I enter false because that gives me an exact match between part number and price. And don't worry, I'll explain how that works later. When I press enter to tell Excel I'm done, you can see I get an error message because I haven't entered a value in cell H2. But when I enter a part number, I get a price. So what just happened? I told Excel, here's a value in the left-hand column of my data. Now look through this range of cells, and in the third column to the right, find the value on the same row. A lot like a phone book. So up next, I'll explain each of the arguments, the values inside the parentheses, along with rules for using VLOOKUP. If you need to, you can look up values on more than one worksheet in a workbook. As an example, we downloaded some website data from a database, and the first sheet has page numbers for the site pages and the hits on each page. The second sheet also has the page numbers plus the page names. VLOOKUP can help me aggregate this data so I can see page IDs, names, and hits in one place. I'll start here on the Pages tab because it gives me two of the function's arguments. First, I see the page names are listed in column B, the second column over. This is what I want VLOOKUP to find, the answers I want to see, so my column reference argument is 2. Also, I know I want to find the page name that matches a given page number. That data starts in cell A2 and ends in cell B39, so A2 to B39 is my lookup table argument. Now I'll go to the Page Views tab, enter a couple headings, and my function. Equal sign, VLOOKUP, open parentheses, and F2 is my lookup value because that's where I'll enter the page IDs. Next, I enter Pages, the name of the other tab, an exclamation point, then my lookup table, a comma, and my column reference. In other words, the lookup table argument is now the name of the worksheet, the exclamation point, and the range of cells I want to search. Because I need exact matches, I'll enter false as my range lookup argument, press enter to finish the formula, and you can see I get an error message because the formula wants a value in cell F2. So I'll copy a page ID here, paste it, and now I know how many hits National Page News 2 received. And to do this again, press Escape to clear the marquee, copy another page number, paste it, and you see another page name. And so next I'll show you how to use absolute cell references in VLOOKUP formulas. They're how you copy the formula down a column. Whenever you need to copy a VLOOKUP formula, or any other formula, you have to use absolute cell references. For example, it'd be nice to list all the page names next to their page numbers in hit data instead of just looking them up one at a time. To do that, we'll need to copy the formula down this column. Whenever you copy a formula, you have to use absolute cell references, and you do that by adding dollar signs to your arguments. So I'll demonstrate by adding a heading, and then I'll start the formula. But this time, instead of entering a blank cell as my first argument, my lookup value, I'll enter $A4. The dollar sign is what makes it an absolute cell reference. In this case, it forces VLOOKUP to use just the values in column A. I'm using those because I know I want to match each page number with its page name, so I'll use those values directly instead of the empty placeholder cells you've seen in the previous videos. Next, I enter the name of the other worksheet, an exclamation point. Then in my cell range, I also use 2 more dollar signs in front of the A and the B, like so. I'll enter the same column reference argument, 2, and false as my range lookup argument, again because I want exact matches. Press enter, and the formula returns home page. Now grab the fill handle, drag it down the column, and there you go. All the data, easy to scan. One thing to remember though, I only used dollar signs in front of the column letters. If I separate column letters and row numbers with dollar signs, like this, VLOOKUP only returns one value, the first one. That happens because dollar signs prevent Excel from changing column and row values in a formula when you copy that formula. Now, here's something that can help. If you're having trouble adding dollar signs to a formula, put your cursor in an argument and press F4. As you press the button, it inserts dollar signs in each allowable place in the argument. In other words, it won't let you put one in the wrong place. Just press F4 until the dollar sign is in the right place and go on to your next argument. So that's a final gotcha, and while we're talking about them, let's recap the other possible mistakes. Your lookup table has to be to the right of your lookup values or on another worksheet. You have to arrange your data in columns, and you enter false when you want an exact match, and true or nothing if you want a partial match. Finally, if you're going to copy the formula, make sure you put the dollar signs in the right places. And to learn more about VLOOKUP, see the links in the course summary.